Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, Peyton, Carl, help me out a little bit, okay?
Omaha! Up!
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. All right, let's pull up this screen. All right, we got some transfer portal news, and decision is coming soon for one of these guys. And there's a lot going on in the transfer portal, and we've got some things that are, I think, fairly imminent. But before I really get into these two guys, I want to talk to you about this season a little bit. Now, look, you know, a couple of years ago, it was pretty tragic in Knoxville. It was bad. I mean, this is kind of how we felt.
And then depression set in.
Yeah, between the Jeremy Pruitt situation and that whole, boy, that was a mess. And what did we go, 3-7 that year? I mean, it was just awful. Then the NCAA problems started to appear. It was not good. But now here we are in 2022, and things have changed dramatically. I think we're feeling a lot like this.
Well, you just never know when another beast might come down out of the forest. You understand, don't you, Thumb Lou?
Yeah, 11-2, winning the Orange Bowl and having a top 10 recruiting class, that kind of turns things around just a little bit. So let's get into this first fella. And this is Davon Sears, and he is out of Texas State, and he's got several big-time schools after him. And he's 6'2", 290, and he was here Thursday and Friday, and he's going to be making a decision in less than 48 hours. January the 9th, he's going to decide what school he's going to attend, and the Vols have got a real good shot at him. And if you want to know why a guy from Texas State is actually so sought after, it's pretty clear. He was ranked pretty high by Pro Football Focus, actually top 25 as far as against the rush, and also top 25 against the pass. He can play every down, and that's really useful for a team that they can keep him in an entire series, at least 4 or 5 plays in a row, and not have to pull him out in the third down situation. Now, he's got 2 big-time schools after him besides us, and that's Oklahoma and Penn State. And he said one of the things that he really likes about Tennessee is it's in the SEC, and he said that's the closest thing to the NFL you can get. And he feels like if he can perform well here, that would translate well into the NFL. So I think he sees this as a possible springboard into professional football. So we'll see what decision he makes. Now, we also have another defensive lineman that's been visiting, and that's Omar Norman Lott, a defensive lineman out of Arizona State. He was a 4-star, 6'3", 290, and I actually covered him about a day or two ago, and he's going to be making a decision at some point, but I don't know if they're going to take both of these guys, and I know they want Omar as well. So it may be whoever picks first. I don't know if they'll take 2 defensive linemen out of the transfer portal, but it's, you know, they might. And Omar's got 3 years left, and Davon has 2 years. So either one I think would be good fits, and I know they're very interested in both. Now, our next guy up is John Campbell. He's an offensive tackle out of Miami. He is 6'5", 320 pounds, and he is one big dude. And he has 2 years left. And this guy would be a good get because he started in all 12 games for Miami last year and played quite well. And really, it's surprising that he's leaving Miami, but we're going to get into that here in a minute. He also ranked well in Pro Football Focus and probably right in the middle of where our linemen are. Not quite as high as Darnell Wright, but a little bit above some of our other guys. So I think he'd fit in real well and probably play quite a bit, especially tackle. We need help at the tackle position. And a guy 6'5" with that wingspan would really be nice, especially an experienced guy. Now we're going up against Florida, Florida State, USC, and then of course us. So there are 3 big-time schools trying to get him, and USC likes to throw money at guys, as you know. But the reality is we really need another offensive tackle. That's just a fact. And if you're wondering why he left Miami, I think I've got a pretty good understanding of why. Miami finished 4th in the recruiting class this year, which is really shocking given how poor their year was. They wound up with a losing record, didn't go to a bowl game, but for some reason they're doing really well in recruiting. And they basically took Francis away from us. We were about to get him, and I think they made an offer that he couldn't refuse. But they picked up 2 5-star offensive linemen, and I think John Campbell realized they're recruiting over him, and he saw the forest for the trees, and he's like, you know, this just isn't going to work out. So he started looking around, and Tennessee would be a nice destination for him. So that's why he left. I mean, the guy started all 12 games. Why else would you leave? Unless somebody's recruiting over you. I'm almost wondering if Miami isn't going to be the next Texas A&M. You know, when you start buying all those players, maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. We'll see. I have no problem picking up a guy that's started in 12 games and played well. Now, this has been an interesting 2 years with Josh Heupel. To go from winning 3 games to 7 games and now 11 games is pretty impressive. And our competition, some of them are not real impressed. They think this is a gimmick offense, that we're a flash in the pan, that reality is going to hit this year in 2023, and it's all going to come crumbling down, and we might win 6, 7 games, something like that. I don't see that happening. Now, is it possible we win 9 or 10 games next year? Yeah, that's possible. I mean, this was a great year. 11-2 is strong. And we're one of the few teams that have to play Georgia and Alabama. But I can tell you this, for the teams that think that it's gimmicky and it's a flash in the pan and all that crap, you may not be afraid of us now, but
You will be. You will be.
that's right. Listen to Yoda. He knows. He's very wise. He's very old, too. All right, folks, just wanted to cover the transfer portal, what's going on. And like I said, it sounds like we've got a decision that's very imminent with Davon Sears. And I think we'll find out on John Campbell in due time. But I think he's almost more important than the defensive lineman, really. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me know to continue to cover the Vols and the SEC. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It's right here on my left. And I know a lot of y'all watch my videos, but you don't hit the subscribe button. And it's just super easy to do, and it costs you absolutely nothing. It's just, boom, it's right there. It's so easy. Just hit that little button. And right over here on my right is a very popular video. It's one of my most recent ones. Be sure to check that out if you don't mind. And I hope you did like the content. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.